Work within the time frames? Yes, sir. Back in the before years of 2009, I was an enlisted clerk in the Air Force. I was working in the unit's orderly room/mail room, the main administrative area, as the only full-time worker and the temporary supervisor. I generally got along with everyone, and if you were polite, I would go above and beyond to help you. One day an officer, middle management in this part of the organization, got cranky at me because a document he wanted was late. It was late getting to him because his boss took ages to sign it. It was well within the actual deadlines, but not within the time frame these documents usually take. He confronted me in the open plan office saying, "What the hell were you doing all this time? Obviously, this is time sensitive. Are you really that shit at your job that you can't get things done in their time frames?" I apologized, started to point out who the document was with, only to be cut off. Just get things done on time. Don't be so f***ing stupid, you bleeping bleep. As an aside, I was only publicly out for about 6 months at that time, and the bleeps were extremely homophobic. I was still in the phase of trying to prove that I was a strong independent person who didn't need no HR to fight my battles. If this happened today, I would report him and watch him drown in HR BS. At this point the entire floor was rather quiet. I apologized again and said, "Don't worry sir, it won't happen again." You see, one thing he didn't know is that I was usually getting everything done weeks, if not months faster than the actual deadlines. Another thing he didn't know is just how petty and malicious I can be, especially when insulted. So I made sure that everything going to Squadron Leader Bleeping Bleep, as he will be called from here, was done exactly to the time frames they need to be processed in. What this effectively did was make sure that absolutely no paperwork made its way to his desk for the next few weeks. He did come around every now and then to check in on some paperwork, and I always said the same thing: I'm tracking the progress of that and it has X number of weeks left to be processed. As such, it's not a priority right now. Another quick aside, my boss knew what happened and was fully on board with what I was doing. At one point when I was out on the mail run delivering paperwork to all his coworkers, I overheard this snippet of a conversation. "Nice officer man, your work has been rather quiet lately. What's happening?" "Squadron Leader Bleeping Bleep, I don't know, every time I follow something up he just says that it's not a priority right now." "Nice officer, wait, really? But OP gets things done instantly." "Oh wait, you were talking to OP a couple of weeks ago?" Squadron Leader Bleeping Bleep, well. Nice officer, oh man, you done F it up. Unfortunately I had to move on at this point, so I couldn't overhear anymore. About a week after that, Squadron Leader Bleeping Bleep came around to follow up on something else, and I gave him the usual response. He then did something I wasn't expecting. He apologized to me. He said that he was sorry for how he treated me and had realized that he might have been out of line. At this point I said, "Apology accepted, but before you go," and started pulling out paperwork from my tray, handing it to him one at a time. "This is all good to go, you just need to sign. This needs a decision and sent to either A or B, depending on the choice. This needs, well, you get the idea." His eyes went wide upon seeing the stack of paperwork. The last thing he didn't realize about me, I take my job seriously. Just because he was being an a-hole didn't mean I was gonna make the rest of the office suffer. I had several officers, higher up on the ladder than Squadron Leader Bleeping Bleep, come and congratulate me throughout the rest of the week for how I handled the situation. Apparently everyone heard what he said, and they were all willing to back me up with HR if I went that way. They were even more willing to throw Squadron Leader Bleeping Bleep out of the metaphorical plane without a parachute when they realized what I was actually doing. The fallout, if you can call it that, Squadron Leader Bleeping Bleep treated me exceptional nicely after that, even though I wasn't a fan of him for the rest of the time I knew him, as did all the officers in the office, including the new staff. The incident did help my reputation for years afterwards and opened up a few doors, which eventually led to me to meeting my husband, so I guess I came out the winner in the end.